something else on here. Oh, come on.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
What the fuck just happened? Oh, no. Oh, fuck.
They say that with great power comes great responsibility. I learned that the hard way. A stupid mistake on my part that could have easily been avoided with an extra 5 minutes of pre-ride setup. And what am I doing on an e-mountain bike in the first place? I rarely do EMTB content. I've ridden plenty of EMTBs over the years, but I've never done any review videos. I've never really considered owning one, and I'm already struggling to keep up my fitness. Adding motor assist seems counterintuitive to me. But on a recent trip to Bentonville, it became clear to me that e-mountain bikes are becoming very common. They're almost everywhere these days. Sometimes places they shouldn't be. Now, I've been neither an advocate nor a critic of e-bikes, and to be specific, I'm talking about e-mountain bikes. People seem to have strong opinions on the subject, and whether you love them or you hate them, their existence will impact you in some way, eventually. So rather than sit on the sidelines, I thought it would be wise for me to immerse myself in this niche. To walk a mile in the shoes of e-bikers. Or perhaps, and from another more selfish perspective, I want to know how to work on them. So to get me started on that journey, Troxus Bikes was kind enough to sponsor this video. They sent me their new mid-drive dedicated e-mountain bike. This is the Troxus T-XC, a Class 1 mid-drive e-mountain bike. Now at this point you're probably asking yourself, who the hell is Troxus? And why would I start off with some unknown brand with a potentially sketchy bike? I'll explain my reasoning in a bit. But before I do, let's take a closer look at the bike and then take it out for a spin. Troxus is a company that you most likely have never heard of. They are a relative newcomer to the market. A US-based company, Vista, California to be exact. The company is run by people that have been in the cycling industry for a long time. The company designs and manufactures their e-bikes to high standards, and they are UL certified for safety. They're sold online or through their network of authorized dealers. Yes, local bike shop support. And I was happy to see some well-established bike shops in my area that sell the brand. With the added complexity that comes with e-bikes, being able to get good local service and warranty work is important. While the brand's focus is on urban commuter e-bikes, the T-XC is an actual Class 1 e-mountain bike with a well-thought-out spec. And as you can see, it's a hardtail, which many of you know is my preferred style of bike. The frame is modern with boost spacing, internal cable routing, and tapered head tube. Let's look at the bike and see what makes it unique. The motor on this bike is the Bafang M560, a powerful 500-watt motor that's typically reserved for heavy fat bikes and cargo bikes. This motor produces a whopping 130 Newton meters of torque. For perspective, most modern EMTBs have torque specs ranging between 70 and 90 Newton meters. And the two direct competitors to this bike, the Aventon Ramblis and the Trek Marlin Plus, both have lower torque motors. It kind of reminds me of a 1960s muscle car. And that big motor is engaged by both torque and cadence sensors. The torque sensor senses how much force you're applying to the pedals and brings on power as needed. The cadence sensor picks up how fast you're spinning your cranks relative to your speed and provides power as needed. So regardless of the gear, you will have power. Giving power to this motor is a UL certified Samsung celled 720 watt-hour battery. The bike has a claimed range of 60 miles. Beyond the motor, Troxus has a thoughtful part spec on this bike, starting with the Shimano Q's group set. This is a budget-friendly drivetrain that is designed with e-bikes in mind. It's got a wide range 11 to 50 tooth cassette, a clutch derailleur, and it's overbuilt to take on the extra strain that e-bikes deliver. And spoiler alert, like its Dior siblings, it's a wonderfully smooth shifting setup. The T-XC is equipped with a 29-inch wheel set that centers around a pair of Novatec hubs. The hubs are laced to a pair of double-walled 36-hole rims. A heavy but strong setup. The tires equipped on this bike are the Kenda boosters in 29 by 2.4, a fast-rolling cross-country tire that looks a bit bigger than the 2.4 inches that's stamped on it. The front suspension fork is the SR Suntour XCM34. The XCM34 is an entry-level fork. This is a beefier version of the XCM30 forks you typically find on entry-level mountain bikes. This fork features bigger 34mm stanchions and a boost through axle. Both features provide the stiffness needed on a heavy e-bike. Internally, the fork design is simple. It's a coil spring fork with a preload adjuster and a lockout. There is no rebound adjustment. And what it lacks in features, it gains in longevity and ease of maintenance. The touch points of the bike consist of a Zoom 150mm dropper, 740mm handlebars connected to a 50mm Zoom branded stem. The company also provides you with a basic set of pedals. I opted to use an old pair of Spank pedals. They provide a little bit more grip, and the orange color matches the bike. The controller is located on the left, and an LED display on the right gives you all the info you need while you ride your bike. This includes speed, distance, watts, and remaining battery life. The motor also connects to the Bafang Go Plus app, which allows you to fine-tune your settings. Troxus gives you a throttle that you can install if you so choose. Installing the throttle converts the bike from a Class 1 e-bike to a Class 3 e-bike. That effectively makes the bike illegal on most mountain bike trail systems. The trail systems that allow e-bikes, that is. If you plan to commute and you want a throttle option, it's easy enough to install. Just disconnect it before hitting single track. I personally have no plans to use it. If I want a motorcycle, I'll buy a motorcycle. It also comes with a kickstand. If you need a kickstand and you want a durable kickstand, this Troxus T-XC has a fantastic kickstand. Something useful for people using it about town. But it's coming off the bike. I plan to use this exclusively as a mountain bike. Is it designed to function like a mountain bike? Well, let's look at the geometry. As the name implies, the T-XC is intended for cross-country riding. And the geometry? Well, it's interesting. The head angle is a very light trail, 66.5 degrees. The seat angle is a typical hardtail, 74 degrees. And the stack is very trail at 656 millimeters. The reach is very cross-country at 427 millimeters for the size medium. And the chainstay? The chainstay comes in at an eye-watering 495 millimeters. That might be the longest chainstay I've ever seen on a mountain bike. All these numbers result in a very long bike. The size small has a wheelbase of 1223 millimeters, and the size large comes in at 1257 millimeters, and the medium splits the difference. We're getting into Enduro Bike territory. That extra sizing is there to tame the massive torque that comes with the M560 motor, but I think it'll most likely come at the expense of handling on tight trails. So let's take the T-XC out to some tight trails. The bike was a little work in some tight sections, but the angles of the bike put plenty of weight on the front tire, which gave the bike a little bit more nimble handling than you would expect. The 29-inch wheels suit this bike well. They provide a stable feel, and turns initiate easily.
Oh. You have to remember that.
And downhills at speed felt really stable. But where this bike really shines is on the climbs.
Alright, here we go. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh. Holy shit. Oh my god, that's eco. Oh, I'm slipping my tire. Holy crap.
The long length of the bike keeps the front wheel planted, and the weight positioning keeps that rear wheel planted and gripping. I will add that the bike is still running inner tubes, and I've got 35 psi in that rear tire. The Kenda tires had exceptional grip. The motor has 5 different power modes and a walk assist mode. The power modes are Eco, Trail, Sport, Sport Plus, and Boost. Eco provides a mild level of assist, and I spent most of my time in this mode. It seems to be plenty of assist for me. It still gives the feeling that you're putting in some effort, and it gives you just enough power through a difficult section. Moving up to the other modes ramps up the power more quickly and forcefully. Regardless of the power mode, the torque sensor brings on the power immediately. Apply light force and you get a little power. Apply a lot of force and you get a lot of power. The power delivery is proportional to the effort you put in. I think that's fantastic. That's something that many detractors of e-mountain bikes don't understand. The bike doesn't propel you. You are still propelling the bike. The bike is just giving you a little boost of leg strength. The Shimano Q's drivetrain punches way above its price point. When this drivetrain was released, I dismissed it as likely another sloppy entry-level group set, a replacement for the old Alveo, Altus, and Acera 3x group sets. I didn't expect much. What I experienced is far from what I expected. The shifts felt as smooth and as effortless as their Dior siblings.
We got one here anyway. I love that torque sensor. Just gives you just enough assist. The power comes on super smooth.
The Q's is designed to be significantly more durable than Dior. Shimano claims that the cassette is 3 times more durable than the Dior series. That's important on a mid-drive e-bike, which are known to eat up drivetrains. With this extra durability, however, comes heavy weight. The cassette weighs in at over 700 grams. What blew me away, however, is how smooth it shifted. Even under load, shifts were quiet and smooth. This is a very clear example of high-end trickling down to budget level. The Tektro brakes were easy to bed in, and they worked as intended. The power was reasonable and it came on evenly, which made them modulate well. Feel-wise, they felt similar to SRAM G2s. Light touch on mellow terrain, but needing a little more force as things got faster and steeper. I'm going to play around with the positioning of the levers to get a little more leverage. I think there is more potential with these brakes. The Suntour XCM fork performed as I would have expected from an undamped coil fork. On small trail chatter, the XCM performed well, considering. Coil suspension is very good at absorbing small bumps. When those bumps got bigger, the XCM had a tendency to get overwhelmed. One saving grace of the fork is the construction. The 34mm stanchions and boost-through axle amps up the stiffness on the fork, and that helps a lot with tracking in rough terrain. The lack of rebound damping results in a lot of noise when on that bumpy terrain. What the XCM lacks in poise, it gains in sheer durability and ease of maintenance. Give a Suntour coil a little grease, and the fork will last decades. So why this bike? Well, there are a few reasons. I wanted to spend some time with something that is suited to the local trails here. Most full suspension e-bikes are made to be self-shuttling machines. And there is no shuttling around here, at least within a few hours' drive. I think it'll be a great XC racing training tool, a way to get some skill practice while doing some Zone 2 training in the woods.
So good. A lot of moss on here. Oh, come on. What the f just happened? Oh, no. Oh, fuck. Oh,
what about that crash? Well, that was all my fault. I accidentally shut off the motor on a very steep climb out while in a hard gear. I hurt my back and pinched a nerve. Fortunately, no broken bones, but it kept me off single track for a good 3 weeks. I think it would have been longer if I was limited to an analog bike. The e-bike made it easier to get back on and recover sooner. It's ironic that I had to put that to the test immediately. Over the next few months, I'll be getting to know life on an e-bike. So please subscribe if you want to see more. It costs nothing and it makes me happy. I'll be making a few thoughtful upgrades to the bike and experiencing life as an e-biker. to experience the good and the bad. We'll see if the tropes, myths, excuses, or whatever you want to call them are true. As the saying goes, to truly understand a person, you must walk a mile in their shoes. Or in this case, ride a mile or 100. I hope you enjoyed this leg of my journey. Thanks for watching.